The next section on the data entry sheet we're going to deal with is the operating information for hold properties. This section is only required where the project involves holding a property for long-term cash flow or growth. If your project does not involve holding a property, then this section can be ignored. In the first part of this section we have provision to input the amount of rent we receive on a property. In the columns provided, all we need to do is enter the number of weeks that we expect in a year that the property will be rented, the amount of rent we receive each week, and the percentage of occupancy for this particular property. Similar to the previous section, these titles or these headings can be changed to whatever we want. If our rental property is a block of units, then we can change the headings to reflect the income from different units rather than the holiday rentals we have shown here. If we want to allow for a period of vacancy, then we can change the number of weeks to something less than 52, or we can change the occupancy to a rate less than 100%. All of the income specified here is totaled to give us our gross income. In the next part we have a checklist of outgoings for the property. As before, these headings or titles can be changed if necessary, and of course, all of the amounts can be changed as they need to be. The management fees can be entered either by amount, by changing the amount, and selecting by amount, or entering a percentage and selecting by percentage. The land tax rate is automatically calculated by the program based on the state that is selected and the statutory valuation that has been entered in the property information section above. The land tax calculation is a special cell that allows the formula to be overridden with a value of your choosing. When you enter an amount into this cell, you will receive a warning message to the effect that you are overriding a formula. When you continue, the cell will become a normal cell and the value can be changed as you wish. If you want to reinstate the formula, all you need to do is enter an asterisk and the formula will be reinstated. There are a number of cells on the data entry sheet that provide this facility and they are designated by a red border and a double asterisk. Further down, we have a number of other input items such as annual growth percent and consumer price index. These are used in predicting the growth in rental income and equity growth over a period of 10 years. The property market value when rented value is taken from data entered further down the sheet, and this will be covered in a later video. If the property is new or has recently been renovated, then values can be entered for fixtures and fittings, and improvement or construction costs, so that depreciation can be calculated over the 10-year period, and this will affect your after-tax income. Up on the right-hand side we have a special section called Multiply Values for all hold properties. What this section allows us to do is to enter the income and outgoings for a single property, and then have the income and outgoings values automatically multiplied by the number of properties we are likely to hold for the long term. Using this feature, we can change the number of properties that we are likely to hold without changing any other data, and instantly see the effect that this has on our pre-tax and after-tax cash flow. If your project involves the development of a number of substantially dissimilar properties with widely varying income and expenses, it may be necessary to complete these sections and modify them manually for each option you wish to explore. This will be covered in more detail in a later video. At the bottom of this section, there is also a special area for dealing with properties or projects that involve properties we already own. In this section we can enter an acquisition cost, which is essentially the book value of a property that we already own. And we can also enter the amount of borrowings that we've got against that property. When values are entered in this section, it is assumed that the property is already owned and therefore the pre-purchase cost and the purchase cost should all be set to 0, and a warning message will be issued to that effect. In any event, when values are entered in these sections, the pre-purchase cost and purchase costs are ignored, and these values are used in their place. All other aspects of the feasibility study remain exactly the same. This is all of the data entry that is required for operating information on hold properties.